Welcome to Dr. Jester Rant, and I'm gonna rant about this. From Hero Gamer. Here's why some players plan to boycott Final Fantasy XVI. It would seem like the best way to send a message to Square would be to vote with your wallet. Well, this is interesting coming from people who do not have wallets and people who do not game or barely do any gaming. Where they actually only, if they do actually do any gaming, it's probably related to World of Warcraft, because now it's woke as garbage as fuck. Overwatch, probably the grooming game called Call of Duty. Those are the only games they seem to be playing. Maybe, in a relatively rare circumstances, League of Legends. Yeah, we're dealing with idiots here. Anyway, let's read this garbage. Apparently, this person seems to use a certain forum called the cesspool of the internet. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Reset era. Right, some Final Fantasy players have revealed they plan to boycott Final Fantasy XVI due to development team's continuously questionable response to the lack of diversity in the game. Last November, producer Naoki Yoshida addressed the lack of diversity in an interview, and the response did little to assuage the concerns of black. Why are you capitalizing the word black and minority ethnic players? When I bet that this idiot here will write and it will be with a lowercase white. Or will you go and say yellow? Because SJWs are so goddamn fucking racist that I won't put it past them to actually use the word yellow instead of Asian. Yeah, we're dealing with idiots here. They are not very bright. Well, anyway, in direct response to this, some players are now planning to boycott Final Fantasy XVI due to lack of diversity and minority characters. So, despite notable criticism and backlash online regarding the lack of diversity tools in the game and Square's continuously questionable response to the topic, it seems a lot of people are still planning to purchase Final Fantasy XVI. Began one poster adding a poll to collate commenters' views. I wonder where this is, right? Are you wondering where this is? Let me just tell you that it is not Twitter. It's not anywhere else. No. It's a very, 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 very bad place on the internet. I wonder if this, oh boy. I don't know if this thing here is censored or it needs censorship or needs to be censored or something. Otherwise, I'm gonna get doxxed myself. But I'll do some work on here later on. But first, let me address this. Yes, feels a little odd to me, because it would seem like the best way to send a message to Square would be to vote with your wallet. Per se, had not purchased the game given those concerns. Therefore, I was specifically wondering if anyone else is going to take a stand and not purchase a boycott Final Fantasy XVI due to these issues. Well, I wonder what would happen if somebody did the same thing. Let's say, Saints Row, the latest one. The complete lack of white characters in the creator or their white skin. There was another game in here that had a character customization that did not even have this shade of whiteness. It did not even have that one. I forgot the name of the game. Will that work? No, oh, no. Oh yeah, wait, that was Hogwarts Legacy. People didn't seem to care. Or the Forsaken. Jesus Christ, that game was bad. So good. It's it doesn't need censorship, but here it is. It comes from Recent Era. Holy shit. Look at this. Staff have decided to place a soft ban on topics concerning AI content generation and their algorithms like Stable Diffusion and ChatGPT. You can read more about the update here. Literally, anything anyone says, they get banned. Look! Banned. If you even remotely go against the narrative, you get banned. I think the place is the home of the moderators of the Recent Era must stink of ammonia. Yeah, I'm giving an illusion that they are cat people and their cats must be peeing everywhere. And it must smell also that musky smell of someone who hasn't showered in 4 days. That musky smell of someone who was balding and fat. And someone who is, well, I can't even say that on YouTube because these people infect the YouTube as well. But let's just say that they are taking something to look something else. Ugh, fuck me. Am I right? What? I am not particularly difficult either. It's not particularly difficult either, given just how many games there are to play. I won't move the needle, but it'll make me feel better about my purchases. I'm not buying it to be completely honest, knowing that Starfield and Dragon's Dogma are coming with black characters, and black character creation make it really easy to skip Final Fantasy XVI. Forspoken is mediocre, but Frey being a good character helps a bit. I'm good. Why don't you just go play Forspoken then? That game was made for people like you, wasn't it? That game was garbage. Garbage. Well, for garbage people, really, but yeah. Details. But here is an interesting bit. People cannot have games that feature white people predominantly anymore because these people will get triggered. These people will get insulted. These people are insane. Here is a reminder from a post from 5 years ago on Reddit on Kingdom Come. It's difficult to actually ascertain if this thing is just being a parody, a satire or something, because we live in a world where this type of view is utterly common, and it's a good representation of the leftists, of the far left, SJWs, etc. So it's really difficult to see if this thing is here, if this thing here is a parody. But before I go on, here's a trailer. So, here it is. lack of diversity in Kingdom Come Deliverance, a game happening in the very early medieval ages or middle ages of Europe, in Bohemia. Today, to this very day, that region barely have any black people. Imagine back then, when people wasn't even aware of Sub-Saharan Africa. Right, here it is. This game is so disappointing. I've watched like 5 hours of gameplay and I haven't seen a single person of color, gender diverse character, non-heterosexual character, or even something as simple as a woman in a position of power, instead of always being represented as servants or housewives. It's so disappointing for a game made in 2018. People say, my historical accuracy and stuff. Having a diverse representation of characters is more important than historical accuracy. Like I said, it's difficult, very difficult, to comprehend if this thing is satire. Yeah. Surprise, people of color and alphabetics and people existed in medieval Europe. Especially since African and Asian had successful civilizations before white people did! Well, technically, the person here is actually inferring to sub-Saharan Africans. Technically, no. Their technological level was severely lacking, despite them actually having empires and things like that and expanding, but their technological level in comparison to Asians and Mediterranean and Europe was far, far below, even in comparison to the Aztecs and Mayans and Incans and Olmecs. They were far, far below. And I am sorry, it's just true facts. These people. This idiot here seems to forget about Greece and Romans and things like that. Don't mention it, the narrative. Surprise! People of color existed. Oh, wait. I already read that. It all seems all the same. It should be mandatory to have a certain amount of alphabets and racially diverse characters in modern games to promote tolerance and inclusiveness. And the devs should take this on board. See? It's always the same shit. And they went on against even the guy itself who made the game. Here, GameIndustry.biz. Bavara. There is no propaganda in Kingdom Come Deliverance. The historical RPG set in the 15th century Bohemia has been criticized for the lack of people of color and the minimal role women playing in the story. You're correct. Women were not that. They barely held any seats of power back in the day. They barely, rarely, very rarely led any armies. They rarely became powerful. Only through when their husbands died and there was no succession or anything like that, they would hold the seat of power. Rarely. I am sorry if history is offensive to you, but that's history. So you better get used to it, you absolute troglodytes who live on a gated community. And live off of daddy's money. Anyway. But developer Warhorse has been always maintained this is an interest of historical accuracy. Once again, they seem to always come through this. Here it is one. From Culture of Gaming. Kingdom Come Deliverance, lack of representation. Oh, this one is quite recent. Kingdom Come Deliverance receives some flack for its lack of positive representation of ethnic diversity and women. In the game, women are treated poorly and there is little to no ethnic diversity. Is this okay? Yes, it is very okay because it's a historical game. It's not a fantasy game. Not even low fantasy game. It's historically accurate. I am sorry if that triggered you goddamn fucking morons. Right. Here it is from a quote from Eurogamer that they quoted. We know African kings in Constantinople on pilgrimage to Spain. We know of black Moors in Spain. No, you moron. First and foremost, the person here may actually be conflating African kings with North African kings, which were not sub-Saharan kings. As you were well aware, people were not aware of sub-Saharan Africa in what? The year 1400, thereabouts, 1600. That's only when they started to become aware of it. But beyond that, this was an unknown area. What he may mean, African kings are those from this region over here. Well, but he thinks it's over here, but no. African kings came from here. And when you see Black Moors, no. Those are usually referring to Black Moors and people from the 1800s who were in this region here actually slaving white people, capturing them from... That's one of the reasons America went to war in this region here and against these pirates, because they captured American white citizens and enslaved them in the 1800s and thereabouts. Details. Right, details that they don't care about. But let me go and give you a perspective in history here that these people don't seem to understand. When you tell someone who has never seen something in your life, you try to describe it as closely as you possibly can, but all the person has left, the artist in this case, has left is words and imagination. So, let me just describe you. There's a humanoid, he has 2 eyes, a nose and a mouth. His skin color is light green. The artist will go on and describe, okay, there are 2 eyes. How big is it? Oh, the eyes are relatively big. And then the person goes on and does the art and it looks relatively alien. But then you go on in the future and that description of that individual becomes more common because that individual is from a region in the world and it becomes popular. And then you go on and learn that no, the person was actually wearing just a slight shade of green or was slightly sick. The big eyes was just because the person was doing this with the eyes. And that's it. There's no surprise. That's what happened with a lot of black people in early Europe in the 1500s, 1600s and thereabouts. It's because of some sailor that went through this region, through the region here, this region, etc., and they saw someone and they were surprised by the color of the skin or how they looked, and they described it to an artist, and an artist will then on paint it with an environment that was familiar to him. He was never in those regions, so for him an architecture different than what he was familiar with was completely alien. So he painted the architecture that was familiar to him, which is from his region. Explaining that to SJWs is just completely difficult. Sometimes you wonder if it is worth the time, because they are so brainwashed. So brainwashed that you think it's just a complete total waste of time to try to reason with them. History is not... It's not kind. History is not beautiful. History is not cute. History is not adorable. History is history. It has blood. It has discrimination. It has problems. It has slavery. It is not kind. It's not beautiful. It's not cute. History is history. It can be very, very distressing, very, very bad, but it is history, and you cannot and you should not try to whitewash it. You should not try to make it beautiful. You should not try to make it tolerable. You should not make any of those things. You have to show history as it was. So the mistakes of the past cannot and should not be repeated today or in the future. That's the only way anybody will learn history, is through that, being exposed by the true, unadulterated facts. But SJWs will not understand that. On that goddamn fucking hell, have a great fucking night.